video is brought to you by Against the Flow of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is a book about Jake Fayard, a Marine veteran who is unhappy with the political machine running the state of Mississippi. He decides to fight the corruption from the inside. Jake will face more challenges than he ever has and will stand up for what he thinks is right. His notoriously hot temper will push him to the edge of murder, along with his friend and brother Kobe Bohanovich. Together, they will fight the system and give the power back to the citizens of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi was written by Anthony Oksenholt and was published by Oksenholt Biloxi Publishing, LLC. A link to the book will be placed in the description below. Alright, y'all. So, this is going to be my last video that I'm making on the March 26, 2025 traffic stop, where Officer Lindsay wrote me 2 tickets. Let me go ahead and break this down for y'all, what happened. So, in my notice to the court, I requested discovery. I also requested that Officer Garriga, the other officer that arrived on scene, show up. Apparently that was improper. Apparently I was supposed to subpoena him. I didn't know it. Now I do. Now I've imparted that information to y'all. Y'all do with it what you will. The judge told me that he would not cut me any breaks. He would treat me just like he would somebody who practices law for a living. I have to respect that. I think that's the right thing. First off, kudos to the judge. I think he was as fair as he could be, and he was as impartial as he could be. Prosecutor, I don't remember the judge's name because I suck at names. Prosecutor, I remember his name, Heflin. He did the right thing. Officer Lindsay was there. He showed up. He testified. And this is how court went. They played about the first, I'm going to say the first 5 minutes of Officer Lindsay's body cam. First 5 minutes and some change. To where I made the accusations at the stop of, I think this is a setup. I think he was waiting on me. And I did think that at the time. Well, it got to be my turn to question Officer Lindsay, who denied my claims, by the way. So I asked him. I said, do you know Joey Tremuta? And he said no. And some of y'all are like, well, of course, he's going to say no. He's going to deny it. No. Let me be fair. I could pretty well tell. You know, I've been around some bad people. I've been around some manipulative people. You know, y'all know what I used to do. Not even going to get into it. I could pretty well tell when somebody's full of shit, somebody's lying. I genuinely think that Officer Lindsay was telling the truth. That he did not know Tremuta. I asked him if he was ordered by anybody in his chain of command to pull me over. And he said no. I believe him. Now, on the scene, I was harsh with him. I'm going to go ahead and admit that. Yeah, I was an asshole. Do I think I was justified at the time? Yes, I did. In hindsight, I probably wasn't. But again, that whole coincidences thing, and y'all know how I feel about coincidences. I don't believe in them. I guess this is the unicorn, because this genuinely, in my opinion, after looking him in the face and speaking with him, I genuinely believe that he was not It was not a setup. It was just really circumstantial, and it's just one of those things. And I'm man enough to admit that. I explained to the judge in the court about my argument with the city attorney, with Joey Tremuta of the city attorney's office. And they understood. They understood why I felt that way. The verdict wound up being this. As far as the second ticket goes, because that was, obviously my big problem. Lindsay admitted the mistake. He said it got put in with a whole bunch of other tickets, and he thought that he had turned in, or he thought that he had told the clerk when he turned in his tickets that one of them was supposed to be voided, but miscommunications and shit like that happen. Okay, I get that. I'll tell the rest of that story when I get to IA calling me. I didn't record the call with IA, by the way. I didn't have time. I was actually in the middle of something else. Anyway, so he admitted his mistake. He admitted that one of them should have been thrown out, or one of them should have been voided out. And I believe him there too. I saw when I had Lindsay on the stand, I actually saw honesty. And I have to be fair. I can't just go complete dicks out on this, because I have to be objective. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm being objective, which I think is the right thing. But anyway, the judge found me guilty on one of the tickets and threw the other one out. I think the judge was fair. I think the prosecutor did his job. I think Officer Lindsay is capable of contributing a lot to law enforcement. He seemed like a decent young man on the stand. So I'm actually not upset that what I said in my previous video, that I wanted him to go into handcuffs. I'm not upset that that didn't happen. Law enforcement is human too. And now that I looked him in the face when I asked him the question about if he was ordered to pull me over by anybody, and he said no, and I'm looking him in the face when he said it, hey, I believe he's telling the truth. A couple hours after court, I had to go deal with something for my pickup truck. I'm sitting over at a friend of mine's house dealing with the paperwork. Guy I bought the truck from, and I get a call from IA. I forget the guy's name. Sounded like a decent guy. And he asked me, he goes, hey, I heard all about everything that happened in court today. I heard that you filed a complaint. I got your complaint in front of me. It's been assigned to me. I forget what his name is. Sergeant somebody. Sound like a pretty nice guy. What do you want to do here? I said, well, you want me to be honest with you? I said, I believe him. I believe that he made a mistake. I said, I think, and for the reasons that I said before of, some people can't afford to take off for court because of his mistakes. I think that some discipline needs to happen for his paperwork just to make sure that his paperwork is fine. I said, but I think administrative discipline is fine. You know, a couple days on the porch, maybe a write-up, something like that. That way, just to make him think before he submits paperwork that, hey, you know, I need to be a little bit more diligent when I turn something in. So it sounds like that he's going to get a reprimand for it, keep his job, no criminal charges. I'm not pursuing this any further. If this write-up makes him a better officer, I personally, after seeing him today on the stand, I personally think that Officer Lindsay still has quite a bit left to contribute to law enforcement. And I'm going to say this. I'm also going to admit that, yes, on the stop, I was harsh with him. At the time, I thought I was justified. In hindsight, I probably could have handled myself a little bit different. I'm man enough to admit that. This is not me pussing out or backing off or whatever. This is the truth. This is my integrity that I'm trying to show y'all. I can admit when I was wrong. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to actually consolidate this into one long video. That way everything is there, but I'm going to put this on here individually just in case anybody wants the full story. I'm telling y'all that I think that Officer Lindsay still has a lot to contribute. Could potentially be a damn good officer and could serve the citizens of Gulfport well. He's young, he made a mistake. As long as he gets some kind of administrative something just to put into his head that, hey, I better think before I submit. And you want the truth? I've had that. I had an old sergeant who's now a lieutenant down where I worked in Florida that he used to beat me over the head about my paperwork daily to make sure that it was right. Unfortunately, and I have to say that this is a state problem, Mississippi does not get the level of training that they should. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. So a little bit of retraining, a little bit of think before you submit, and I'm satisfied. I'm not upset at all with the verdict from the judge. I'm not upset at all with anything else. So I'm going to let this go. And this is the last video I'm going to make on this. So y'all take care and y'all have a good day.